Beijing is a fantastic city, the capital of China for more than 800 years throughout its more than 3,000 years of history. It has seen several dynasties come and go, and this rich imperial past flavors the culture and attractions of the modern city. My first visit to the city was in the summer of 2007. Since that time, I visited the city on a number of occasions and am never left in awe at just what this amazing city has to offer. In addition to the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, Tiananmen Square, and the Temple of Heaven, there is so much more to this city. Here in this video, I will show you some of the well-known and lesser-known attractions you should really include on a visit here. Hi, I am John and welcome to my channel, Laowai in China. On this channel, my aim is to inform people that have never visited China what life here is really like, and not as it is often portrayed in Western media. I cover topics such as travel, culture, as well as current affairs, both here and overseas, that reflect the day-to-day life here. Today's video is called Unveiling the Hidden Gems of Beijing, the ultimate travel guide to the capital city of China. I hope you like this video, so sit back and enjoy. Attractions in Beijing. The Great Wall. The Great Wall of China extends across northern China for a distance of more than 8,000 kilometers or 5,000 miles, and 526 of those kilometers are accessible from Beijing. There are several sections of the Great Wall for you to discover. Some sections are restored, while others are more rugged in appearance. Either way, you can expect a great but tiring experience. The Badeling and Mutianyu sections are the most visited, and can get very crowded. Mutianyu also has the option of a cable car to ease those tired legs after or before an exhilarating walk. Simitai offers some great night views and is the only section open at night for a romantic stroll, illuminated with tasteful lighting. Jinshaling is partly restored and partly wild, and considered the best place for hiking away from the crowds. It is also great for photographers with some stunning photo opportunities. For those seeking the ultimate adventure, then try out the Great Wall Marathon. This annual event takes runners along sections of the wall at Huangyaguan and Jinshaling. Tiananmen Square, the largest and most famous square in the world, is a must-visit attraction in the center of the city, directly across the road from the Forbidden City. One daily ceremony worth getting up for is the flag-raising ceremony held at dawn every day. The ceremony, with the flag guarded by soldiers as they march at a slow, precise pace, is witnessed by large crowds every day, and is a short but touching ceremony that gives visitors an insight into the country and its people. There is also a flag-lowering ceremony at dusk, again worth your time. Within Tiananmen Square is the monument to the people's heroes, as well as the Chairman Mao Memorial Hall. The nearest subway to this attraction is Tiananmen East Station on Line 1. Chairman Mao's Mausoleum. Located in the center of Tiananmen Square, and you'll need your passport and have a bag check to enter the square. The lines of people waiting to enter and pay their respects are often very long. I have visited here with my wife several years ago, and it took us about 2 hours of waiting. You cannot take cameras in, yet ironically people take out their phones and get a picture once inside the viewing hall. Shorts, flip-flops and vests are not permitted. The viewing hall is open from 8 a.m. until 12 noon and is closed on Mondays. The exit is closer to the southern end of Tiananmen Square and close to the Tiananmen exit. This is an area of the city worth exploring. National Museum of China. Located immediately to the east of Tiananmen Square, this museum is the merger of two museums, the Museum of Chinese Revolution and the National Museum of Chinese History. You will need your passport for entry. Expect to find long queues, but the entry is free. There is a lot to see here, and the signs and information boards are very good, with plenty of information in English. There are more than 600 items on this display of historical and cultural importance. The museum is open daily from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m, although no entry is permitted after 4 p.m. The nearest subway stations are Tiananmen East on Line 1 and Tiananmen on Line 2. The Forbidden City. Located directly to the north of Tiananmen Square, the Forbidden City is a must-see attraction in Beijing. It is one of China's most stunning attractions, 999 rooms within a huge palace complex that from 1368 until 1911 was the home to 24 successive emperors, the center of the Chinese Empire, and completely closed off to the majority of its people. There is a world of palaces, courtyards, temples, gardens, and museums. I have visited here twice, spending a full day here each time and not seeing all there is to see. It truly is huge. The attraction is closed on Mondays. It is open from Tuesday until Sunday from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. This is 4:30 p.m. from November until March, and is particularly busy during Chinese national holidays. Entry costs 60 RMB, and tickets can only be bought in advance through the official website of the Palace Museum. This website is only available in Chinese, but if you're staying at a hotel or hostel in the city, then they can help you. You will need to bring your passport for entry, as this will have been used to book your tickets. Summer Palace. The Summer Palace is located in the suburbs of western Beijing and was built by 100,000 laborers in the 18th century under the direction of Emperor Qianlong. The structure was badly damaged by the British and French, and a major rebuild was ordered by the Empress Dowager Cixi in 1888. The money used for this project was originally intended to be for the Chinese Navy, and this act of corruption led to a crushing defeat for the Chinese in the First Sino-Japanese War of 1894-5. Once the Qing dynasty fell, the Summer Palace fell into a state of disrepair, and further renovation work was conducted after the creation of the People's Republic of China in 1949. The Summer Palace, also known as Yihe, was a resort for the imperial family of the Qing dynasty, and is today the best preserved royal garden to be found in China. One of the best features here is the long corridor, a decorated walkway of 726 meters in length, complete with 548 columns. Adorning the beams along the corridor are over 14,000 colorful paintings. Other attractions include Longevity Hill for stunning views over Kunming Lake. The area offers an insight into the opulence of imperial China through the number of pavilions and pagodas on show. On Sizewell Lake there are several bridges, the pick of these being the 17th Arch Bridge. Entry to the Summer Palace costs 60 RMB, 50 RMB from November until March, and is open daily from 6:30 a.m. until 6 p.m, with slightly shorter opening times in the winter. The nearest subway is Shiyuan Station on Line 4. The Old Summer Palace. This was a grand imperial garden until it was destroyed by the British and French forces in 1860 during the Second Opium War. The Old Summer Palace is located 3 kilometers from the new Summer Palace. They are 2 different gardens. Each is worthy of a visit. When the original structure was attacked, numerous pieces of art were stolen, which are now on display in nearly 50 museums around the world. The gardens are home to numerous pavilions, temples and lakes. The Great Fountain Ruins offers visitors the chance to imagine the splendor of how these gardens once were. The Old Summer Palace is open daily from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m, from May until August. Seasonal opening times vary slightly. The cost of entry is 10 RMB with additional fees for individual attractions. The nearest subway station is Yuanmingyuan on line 4. Lama Temple. The spectacular Lama Temple is a Tibetan Buddhist one, and is the central pillar for those in Beijing that follow Buddhism. It is regarded as one of the best Tibetan temples to be found outside of the autonomous region of Tibet. The temple houses 3 stunning archways, some interesting museums, 5 main halls, and a giant prayer wheel. The temple is open daily from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m, although it closes at 4 p.m. from November until March, and the cost of entry is 25 RMB. The nearest subway station is Yonghe or Lama Temple on lines 2 and 5. Confucius Temple and the Imperial College. The Confucius Temple can be found within the Hutongs up to the west of the Lama Temple, and from the Lama Temple walk along Guozijiang and you'll find the temple on the right hand side. The temple is China's second largest Confucian temple, only smaller to the temple in Qufu in Shandong province, the hometown of the philosopher. Within the grounds of the temple, you'll be able to see 13 Confucian classics written on 190 stelae, which comprises of 630,000 characters. In addition to being a temple, it is also where the imperial examinations were held until they were abolished in 1905. Passing the examinations led to a guarantee of wealth, status, and a life in the government during the period of imperial China. The exams focused on each candidate's knowledge of the classics, not their technical expertise, which could lead to some problems before they were scrapped in the early 20th century. The temple is open from 8:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. each day, although it closes at 5 p.m. from November until April, and entry costs 30 RMB. The nearest subway station is Yonghe or Lama Temple on lines 2 and 5. Beijing's Hutongs. In the heart of Beijing are the winding alleyways that signify the style of the traditional houses of the city. Although the number of Hutongs left in the city are becoming less and less as development continues. Some have been converted into small hotels and hostels, which gives visitors some idea of this style of home. Other homes in the Hutongs are really old with poor insulation and sanitation, with some areas still using shared bathrooms. There are several Hutongs featured on tours, with some of the better areas to visit being close to Tiananmen and Qiaowan subway stations, or to the southwest of Kaishikou subway station. A good way to sample life here is on a rickshaw ride through the Hutongs, as most are too narrow for a car. Temple of Heaven. The Temple of Heaven is one of China's most renowned religious sites and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The site the temple sits on is huge, and you will not fail to be impressed by the structure itself. The Temple of Heaven is the royal altar where the Ming and Qing dynasty emperors worshipped the heavens, and this temple is seen as the most holy of the city's imperial temples. The temple has been described as a masterpiece of architecture and landscape design. The Temple of Heaven is open daily from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m, although from November until March it does not open until 6:30 a.m. The cost of entry is 35 RMB, and the nearest subway station is Tiantan on line 5. Beihai Park. Beihai Park is located in central Beijing, close to the Forbidden City, and is also known as the Northern Sea Park. It is one of China's oldest, best preserved, and largest ancient imperial gardens, with over 1,000 years of history. It is, in addition to being a perfect garden, an integration of imperial palaces and religious refinement. Beihai Park was first constructed during the Liao dynasty of 916 to 1125 and has been repaired and rebuilt during the following dynasties up until the fall of the Qing in 1911. Emperor Qianlong undertook much of the work that can be seen in the present scale and pattern of the park during the Qing dynasty. It first opened to the public in 1925 and today attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors from all over the world. The park covers an area of 175 acres or 70 hectares, and in more than half of the park area is its impressive lake. Within the centre lies the jade flowery islet, with the white dagoba being the centrepiece attraction. There are four main scenic areas: the Northern Shore area, the Eastern Shore area, the Botanical Garden, and the Circular City. In addition to the White Dagoba, the other main attractions you should visit are the Yong'an Temple, the Haopu Creek Garden. Inside the Quiet Heart Studio are magnificent palaces, pavilions, towers, and artificial hills. The Nine Dragons screen is the only one in China to feature 9 dragons on both sides, and among the famous dragon screens in China. It is 27 meters in length, 6.65 meters high, and 1.42 meters thick. The Circular City encompasses part of the city wall and contains halls, towers, and pavilions, with the white jade statue of Buddha held in the Chengguang Hall. Beihai Park is open from 6:30 a.m. until 9 p.m., although from 8 p.m. from November until March. The entrance fee is 5 RMB, but additional costs are required for some attractions inside. The nearest subway station is Beihai Bay on line 6. Use exit B, and then the park is a 5-minute walk to the east. Numerous bus services also operate to this attraction. Beijing markets. There are some great markets in Beijing, and while many tourists will find their way to the Silk Market or Silk Street near Yong'anli, it is likely you'll get ripped off with fake goods. The locals do not shop there. Xidan, on the other hand, is full of bargains. Very few tourists venture here, and is a chance for you to practice your bargaining skills. The nearest subway station is Xidan on lines 1 and 4. For lovers of antiques, try the Panjia Yuan flea market, where you can find jewelry, jade, and handicrafts. This market has been in operation since 1992 and is now China's most popular antique market. Be wary when buying items here, as some may be fake. Wangfujing Street Market is located just to the north of the famous Wangfujing Shopping Street, which is one of the city's famous shopping streets. The street market begins in the early evening when dozens of stores begin, with many food stores offering delicacies you may not have seen before, such as fried scorpion or starfish. The market is a bit of a tourist trap, but a fun way to spend an hour or two just browsing. Peking or Beijing Opera. Opera in Beijing is considered the quintessential piece of Chinese culture. Each compelling performance would include magnificent costumes, facial makeup, skilled actions, unique vocals, and literary stories. Particular interest is given to the facial masks, which are painted different colors depending upon the specific characteristics. A red face symbolizes loyalty and straightforwardness, while a white face is used to portray treachery and paranoia. Some of the notable theatres in the city include the Chang'an Grand Theatre, the Beijing Opera House, or the Mei Lanfang Theatre. Sanlitun at night. Beijing is a really safe city, and Sanlitun is an area where many Beijing people will walk in the evening. It's also popular with foreigners, as there are many embassies located in the area, which is full of bars, restaurants, clubs, and shopping malls. Many of the bars and clubs are open until the early morning, with some open all night. Getting around the city. You'll find travelling around the city you'll need at least one translation app, as English is not widely spoken by those working on the transport network. The subway is probably the best transport option. It is excellent, cheap, and very clean. All information signs on the subway are in both Mandarin and English. It is very easy to get around, but be aware the subway network stops each night at 11 p.m. The bus network is outstanding. Announcements on the buses are in English as well as Mandarin. However, at the bus stops, they are only available in Mandarin. Taxis are a good option, but there are some scam drivers that operate in what looks like a taxi, but it is not officially registered. If there is no working meter, then refuse to use the taxi. Also, taxis and Beijing rush hour is not a good combination. If you have enjoyed watching this video and it has shown you a little detail of life here in China, then your subscribing to my channel would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and make sure you click on the link to the next video.